starts with one. All it's so unreal. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even
Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? Oh yeah, I think this is. Hey, if you can hear me, welcome back to another Division 2 live streams. This is TuxedoBandido, and today we are going to work on builds that feature things other than armor. That's something different. So how can you survive without armor in the Division 2? Oh my god. Welcome to another live stream, Bandidos. It is Wednesday, November 22nd, the eve of Thanksgiving, of Turkey Day, of mashed potatoes. And I'm super stoked about that and to be here with you guys. I'm super thankful. And so before we jump into today's build video, which is going to be on how to build added survivability onto your DPS build without adding extra armor. So there's more than one way to add survivability to your build, right? And we've been featuring a lot of high armor builds, which I really love, especially for that bonus armor. But today, I'm gonna show you how to do it with other than armor. But before we do that, I would just wanna take a moment to give some special thanks to all you banditos that have now climbed to your platinum skulls. And if I had to go on beyond that, then we'd be here forever giving thanks to all you banditos that are in Tux's Players Club. So I appreciate all of you, but a special shout out to those platinum skulls like Spin Webs, Fred LeBaron, Lorenzo Hernandez, Mo Limits, and Tony Garcia, Nomad, James Eaton, and LD Inc. Floyd Rockers also got his platinum skull, YouTube Comments, and Anthony DeMar. Warren Miller's got platinum, John Fancy, and Ant Loves Tia's got a platinum. Brad Clymer, Stephen Flanagan, Osriel, and Delano Johnson has platinum. That means everybody has greater than 24 months in the Players Club. Some true support there. We got Kenneth Moody, YTL Stinger, and Chris Wagner with over 24 months and a platinum skull in the Players Club. We got Xander, Cody, MTTSTI with 24 months. Boosted Rex with a platinum skull. M. Crawford, Saren Humberg with a platinum skull. Over 2 years. You guys rock. Spanky's Corner, Colby Williamson, Mark Sellers, all with platinum skulls dedicated to this cause for over 2 years. Now, all of you, like Ricky Young, Rupin East, and Sean, and Brian Holloway, and Brian Ling, and more and more and more, with your gold skulls, you're right there at 23 months, just about to get your platinum skulls. So I appreciate you guys so much. So if I didn't name you, that's because you're probably on the edge of being a platinum skull and getting to your 2-year mark. So appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. We wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have your guys' dedicated support. Truly. So should we talk about builds? So we've been talking about added survivability, and the other day I put out a build on how much armor can you roll on your build, on a DPS build, to give you that boosted survivability while maintaining an effective time to kill, right? And so there's a lot more leeway there than one might expect. Now, if you're looking to break a record or play specialized content like raids and incursions, then that's not really part of this discussion. There's different reasons why we run prescribed builds, and it's usually because you're random matchmaking with a bunch of random people, or you're respecting people's time, or you're eliminating variables on why you're not achieving success at a checkpoint. That's usually why you're eliminating variables. And so if everybody has like a prescribed build that that works, then when you're taking on that type of content, then it's probably something other than a build, and then you could focus on that, which would be strategy. So, but for this video, we're talking about general content. So we're talking about legendaries or heroics, solo or group, and maybe even countdown. Countdown's sort of its own thing, right? And so the objective, yeah, that's the word. The objective is to add survivability. So of course, this build here doesn't have any real added survivability, right? This kicks in after you die, and 10% armor on kill, I don't know, is added survivability. It's just not a lot. And so what we want to do is not look at other creative ways other than just slapping on a bunch of armor. And so we'll be looking at talents. And so we're going to try to maintain an all red build, right? And so we're going to be looking at talents. We're going to be looking at specializations and attributes, such as like armor on kill, things that don't actually relate to how much armor you have, like repair skills and incoming repairs, but not like traditional armor regen. And I say the word traditional armor regen because there's some unique armor regen in this game that we will be tapping into. So I hope that's clear as muddy water, but let's just go ahead and get into it. So let's, one of the ones we're going to start out with is the Devil's Due backpack. Are you guys familiar with this one? It's often overlooked. It is a Dark Zone exclusive backpack. You don't have to have the named one. You can go with the non-perfect one. Also, should be somewhere here. Okay, so we're gonna look at this. It's actually clutch that we're looking at, but the perfect version is on a Cheska, so it's actually a pretty good perfect version. It's called the Devil's Due. And so you don't have to go into the Dark Zone to get this. You can actually also get it just by like farming named item caches, and the fastest way to do that is by either playing Countdown and getting those requisitions credits so that you can go to the Countdown vendor and then relying on RNG, or by doing the global events and getting red stars. Okay, so let's look at this. So it's a Cheska backpack, comes with crits and all that stuff, but it's perfect clutch. And so it's actually a 2-part talent, and because it's confusing, and at one point it was broken a long time ago, and it's been fixed, but that's why it's not popularized. But it's actually a really good talent. And the reason why is because it's actually 100% armor on kill. Well, technically 99.9999%, but they say 100%, so I'm gonna say 100%, just to keep it simple. But yeah, and so whether you have the perfect talent or not is just a difference in the first paragraph. So in this one, it says, if you are below 20% armor, critical hits repair 2.5 missing armor, 2.5%. So what is it telling you there? Well, one, the condition is it's not going to turn on unless you're below 20% armor. Now, if you're running the non-perfect version, I believe it's 15%. So they make you lose a little bit of armor before it kicks in. The second condition is you must have crits. Crits are what activate the healing. Basically, we call this sort of a vampire build. So when you're putting out damage, when you're sinking in your teeth, your crit teeth into the enemy, you're gonna be sucking their blood and healing yourself, basically. That's, I guess that's why we call it a vampire build, right? So damage, putting out damage heals you. You're critting for heals. And that's gonna take you to 20%, the first paragraph. Okay, then there's a second part. When you get a kill, this is the special part. Okay, the first part is nice. It saves me a ton from time to time, but it's the second part is what we're really after. So kills allow you to repair up to 100% armor for 4 to 10 seconds based on the number of core attributes. So the more red cores you have, then the better you're gonna heal up. And I believe, if I remember right, it also that's how you get to 10 seconds instead of 4 seconds. So 4 is the minimum, 10 seconds is the maximum. And that's when you run all 6 red cores, you're gonna have 10-second timer on that. So you gotta crit inside those 10 seconds to heal up. But the idea is, well, part of what makes this work is that you're gonna be killing and constantly refreshing that timer. So every time you get a kill, you're refreshing that 10 seconds. So in theory, you can have 100% armor on kill full time as long as you're critting, as long as you're shooting. So, and because you're refreshing that timer. So it's pretty cool. Now, one of the things that when we look at this, what you're gonna wanna have is the faster the weapon, the better. Well, why? Because you're on a timer. So the more crits you can put out, the better. The more crits inside that 10 seconds, the better healing you're gonna get. And the other thing is a weapon accuracy is going to matter here, right? Because if you're missing a bunch of shots, that means you're not critting, which means you're not healing. So you want a weapon that does a decent job at critting, landing shots. And obviously crits being the other thing. So you want a lot of crits. And so you don't want to run armor. So if you can run a little bit of armor. But the idea is here is that heal while you're taking damage, constantly be healing, and make that really strong by running lots of armor. So one of the other reasons why this is a tough one is because it's in the backpack slot. Okay, so that's also why it's often overlooked, because what are your alternatives in the backpack slot? The memento. That's a damn good alternative, I gotta say. But also you got the Heartbreaker backpack. So if you're running a Heartbreaker build, you can double up on bonus armor. And you got Bloodsucker back here. So there's lots of good backpacks. Or if you're just looking for pure damage on the Striker build, then you have the Striker backpack. So there's lots of good things in the backpack. So that's also what's tough, is you're competing with things like the Memento. But on our journey, the Memento is off the table because we're not looking for armor. We're gonna try to run this with no armor. All right, and so Striker build's fine for now. We'll just go ahead and keep Striker. And so let's go ahead and do this on stages, okay? Because I want to highlight how this thing performs and whether we like it, and then what we want to change. And so we'll go ahead and run a shield because I want to preserve my playstyle, which is going to be running and gunning. And then I'll take this off, and I'm not going to put a healer on. I'm just going to put a decoy on because I wanted to showcase how well this works. And so if we look at our crits, we're pretty high. Let me go ahead and see which got crit chance. Okay, you, strip you. Still too high. Still too high. It's that damn Cheska. Okay, I'll take off that armor. There we go. Okay, so go ahead and put crit damage. Actually, I'll go ahead and put crit chance. Hold on. Let me put that one back to crit chance because we'll go over in crit chance, but I want to peek it out because this is a crit-based talent. So from here, we'll run crit damage. All right, so we got a little extra crit chance. All right, cool, pretty basic. And so we're running Gunner here. Actually, let me take off Gunner. Gunner's, I would normally keep Gunner. It's actually a great combo just to help that a little bit, but I want to highlight how well that thing does on its own. So I'm going to isolate its healing. So we'll go ahead and take Firewall, and that's going to give us more damage. And this actually be a good build. We'll talk about the pros and cons. Let's take that active regen, and then we get damage and damage. Okay, cool. So cool. We got no other source of heals. I hope you, so you can you guys see that? So not even gunner. So the only healing we're gonna take is perfect clutch, and then we need to see if we can survive with that. Can we survive with just perfect clutch? And it's not probably, you know, probably. So a little bit is going to be about can we perform the same? Is it giving us the same enjoyment, the same effectiveness, preserving my play style? You know, can I be as aggressive, or do I get pinched a lot? What up, Kool-Aid? Yeah, I beta tested Division Resurgence the last round, and I just didn't want to do another beta test. You know what I mean? Like, at this stage, I'm just gonna wait for the final experience, whether they made changes or not. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool game. I mean, it's gonna be a nostalgic play for me, though. You know what I mean? It's gonna be something that we'll do time to time, and you know, just talk about the possibilities of the Division and what's in the future for Division 3, and use that as a platform for conversation. You know, there's some lore and interesting things on the lore side, so it'll explore a little bit. We'll be exploring a little bit of that with Resurgence, but the game itself, I don't know. I'm just not sure it's going to be a mainliner for me. And because I have such a limited time, that's basically where it sits on my priority. Right on, Wayne. I hope you're enjoying it, man. Good game. Okay, so we're just gonna build some stacks here. So Wayne's checking out Starfield. I haven't logged in Starfield for a couple of weeks, but I'm excited to check out the new patch, which wasn't console Xbox based. The patch was actually mostly for Steam, but I hear there's an update for console anyways. So I probably just need to log in and download that. Oh, really? All right, hold on. I'm trying to get to my zone here. All right, so you can see we're active. That's that little circular symbol there. Get rid of that thing. Ah! Ah! Watch the heals. Which is probably going to be an interesting problem, is our time to kill. So our time to kill might be, look at our heal there, that was good heal. But it's possible that the fast time to kill is, I mean, there's nobody left to crit on. Does that make sense? They're dying with few crits. It's kind of a, there's some irony there. We'll see though. Now, the other thing is about no armor and builds like this, and more important is play style, is how brittle your shield is. It's not something where we had factored in, right? And it's not that big of a deal except until it breaks, which again is not a big deal because there's plenty of cover, but it's the dizziness thing, right? That becomes the biggest hindrance. Fucker. It's always that ride foam, isn't it? See the fucking shield? So that we're gonna have to handle that. You're gonna have to handle that. Oh, you fucker. The range on that guy, huh? Range and accuracy. You fucker. So not bad. So the shield issue is an actual issue, just because they're gonna shoot at you. You know what I mean? And you try to get up there and you try to have, you know, perfect gameplay, but it's just not gonna happen. They're gonna. I mean, how many times did our shield break there? Twice, at least, right? Maybe 3 times. I don't remember, but enough to where it caught my attention. Incoming repair mods, good question. So nothing affects this, and it's usually like that with talents. Good question. So nothing, when it comes to talents, for the most part, mods or things like incoming repairs, well, I shouldn't say that for most talents. But no, this one is its own thing. It's crits. The only way to heal with this is crits. It's the only way you can heal with it. And then red bars, weapon damage. Those are the 2 conditions on this one. But I was gonna say, like, things like the catharsis, incoming repair, there's no way to affect vicious cycle. The only way to affect vicious cycle technically is by increasing your max armor so that those heals are stronger per second, but it's always 5%. But things like kinetic momentum, you can run incoming repairs and make that stronger. But it's not really making that stronger, it's making you stronger. So it's sort of looked at differently by the game. So, okay, so can you survive? Yes. Okay, this is my assessment on it at this stage. Like, this is my impressions. So, all red build, we have a source of heals here, which is great. And was it enough? Absolutely, it was. It worked the whole way through. But what it doesn't do is, and why we like bonus armor, right? If you guys notice, like, you're probably, and I can't speak for everybody, but my impressions are, from my observations and my own experiences, is that bonus armor gives you a lot more confidence to get out there, to drop your shield more, the willingness to actually absorb damage instead of your shield taking damage. So when I'm running like the memento and I pick up a fresh trophy and I get that bonus armor, I actually drop my shield and run around shieldless because I'm faster now. I can get there faster. And I know I'm gonna take a couple of bullets along the way, but I don't care. All armor is temporary anyways, whether it's blue or white, it's all temporary until a bullet hits you or it times out, which is all gonna happen sometime inside 10 seconds, right? So it allows you to play faster, more aggressive, and it gives you, but it also, besides your confidence level and your speed, it's also resistance, just flat out resistance. Now, bonus armor doesn't give you a stronger shield. However, it provides an additional shield, a second shield behind the shield. And that shield, which I often call a blue shield, protects you in 360 degrees. Where in our case, we picked up heals, but we have no resistance. That creates a separate issue, right? So we can recover, it's fine, as long as you're aggressive, as long as you're shooting, you're healing, and the healing is adequate. However, on the resistance side of things, it's, what's the word? You know, you feel brittle. You feel brittle, you feel less godly, and I feel more godly in my gameplay. I feel more godly with bonus armor and a little less damage, and for all the reasons we know, which is it doesn't impact time to kill very much by adding armor, right? Okay, we'll get into that a little bit. So in the next iteration. But for now, one of the ways to bring that godliness into it is to bring more of what Perfect Clutch is doing, to heal faster, to get stronger heals. So if you guys have seen this before, do you remember that 511 build and builds like that, where I made this 511 build that's based off of repair skills and incoming repairs? And so there was no armor on that build, or maybe one armor core, but it was an armorless build. It was built on yellow cores, but the heals, the healing, the recovery was so strong that you're healing through the damage as you're taking it, which acts like a form of resistance. It is a form of resistance. So, which is why we actually like strong armor regen, because strong armor regen isn't so much about the recovery as it is about being able to take shots and heal through the damage as you're taking it, which goes a long ways. The downside about armor regen is, to make it worthwhile, you usually have to load on a shit ton of armor and armor regen attributes. So you're taking away a lot of your build. So those type of builds tend to be tank builds, not tank DPS builds. Now there's a few exceptions there, but they tend to be tank builds because they take so many attributes to make good armor regen. And tank builds are great, especially when you're playing solo. They still can go pretty hard. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is look at that chest piece and see what we can bring in to give us more of what Clutch does. And so basically we're gonna have to put on a striker's glove. So let's put on that one. I'll change the attribute. And then what I'm gonna look at first is Ridgeway's Pride. So Ridgeway's Pride is an armor regen. It's all red build, which is nice, crits, but the levels of armor regen are a measly 3% up to 48%. And it's also proximity based, and it also applies a status effect. So a 50% armor regen. So I gotta say, like, I'm never really impressed with Ridgeway's Pride on its own, but when you combine it with something like Perfect Clutch, then it could be pretty powerful. Our healing could be pretty powerful. So let's see where that puts us. So we're at 60. Let me see if I can strip something off. Crit chance wise, what came here? Crit chance, yeah. So we're gonna have to put this to crit damage, I think. And then let me just take this off real quick and see what that puts us at. Still 60. It's fine. Okay, let's put that back on. That one. And then let's take off the armor. Yeah, the primary is new. It's called the Ouroboros, and it came out with this season. And there's a new game mode, an incursion, that it's locked behind. It's a fast mission. People are still learning it. But the incursion, you know, can take anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on the experience of the team. So, but it's actually, once you get experience with it, it's actually pretty casual, but it won't feel like it at first. It'll feel like a raid. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, those are my winter gloves. They're knitted. So, okay, so what I'm hoping for is that we're going to get some armor regen, some decent armor regen along with this. And that will, what I'm looking for is a little more in the form of resistance, okay? And we're not addressing the shield yet. That's a separate issue. So we'll get to that. And so in the end, we're probably gonna have to look at how to make that shield less brittle. And there's only one way to do that: skill tiers or armor cores, or give it enough heals by running technician and using the artificer hive, which is not a bad idea, actually. Not a bad idea at all. Because the idea, what we're looking at here is that one of the concepts that goes into this build is that, hey, the build is so strong that we're tacking away damage to add more survivability because we can. You know what I mean? Because we can. Like, we just kill it. I mean, we got a really strong build here, right? So see the healing going on right there? Because he's bleeding. So one of the problems that I've always had with this chest piece in general is that you're killing your source of heals, and that it kind of annoys me. You know what I mean? Because you got this guy bleeding, and the longer he's bleeding, then the longer you're going to be healing. But when you then have great DPS and kill your heals off, you don't have anybody to heal from. It's like destroying your hive. And so that's always been the challenge with this chest piece, and it's going to be a challenge today, especially when you got a really good time to kill.
Heavily armored hostile detected. Hostile broadcast detected.
Look at these guys. Do something.
Aim carefully. Pin him down. Assaulting the objective.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Get up, dude. So it's kind of neat because the backpack doesn't have a distance limitator where the chest piece does. Because the backpack, you know, so I can heal at distance as long as I'm critting. More.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Right on. So pretty interesting. So we didn't break the shield once that time.
Supply room access unlocked.
And I'm trying to think of really why, and you know, I couldn't really say it's because of the build, just the way the cookie crumbled, because nothing in the build it was benefiting the shield. You know, like this doesn't help the shield, this doesn't help the shield. The regen is for you. I wish we had more defensive options for the chest, you know? They don't give us much. I mean, one of the things that I really wish we got is like bonus armor on kill or some sort of armor on kill on the chest.
Hostile broadcast picked up.
But we're not done. Don't worry, I have some things in mind that I want to get to. So we should end up with a pretty cool build here. Companion chest piece, a perfect companion with armor on it. Not with the armor. I mean, not that I can remember, but I do like that chest piece, especially with the St. Elmo's. I usually run it with the St. Elmo's if I'm going to run it, because the status effects actually help the St. Elmo's shock, since you're running electric and perfect companion. So it's a really nice one there for that. Yeah, well, that's a really good combo. I am purposely avoiding armor. However, you can run Bloodsucker without running armor. And so we're going to look at that route. So hang tight, because you're on the right path. And Hunter's Fury too. I'm probably not going to actually run Hunter's Fury, but same concept. Yes, absolutely. Because Hunter's Fury is armor on kill, and contrary to the description of that attribute, armor on kill, you don't actually need lots of armor for armor on kill to be effective, because it's a percentage of just whatever you have. And so armor on kill isn't really used for resistance, unfortunately. That's the only downside of it, where bonus armor is a good resistance addition. So, what did I want to do next? There's a couple of different paths here. Hold on a second. Oh, you know what? I think I'm missing a piece I gotta go get. Hold on, let me look here. So I'm gonna want the death grips, because it's an easy source of armor on kill without having to run two pieces. So hold on. So I think to take this to the next level, like from beyond what I'm thinking, I think what would be cool is like, let's make a tank. This is a challenge, I guess I'm throwing out there. Let's make a tank here without actually being a tank. You know what I mean? Like, let's make something that is like really tanky without throwing on a bunch of armor, which is pretty hard to do. You know what I mean? And I don't mean, obviously you're not how can you be a tank without armor? Obviously. So, but what I mean is like, the same gratification and godly feeling of a tank. And so I'm thinking of the path here. And so what I'm going to try next is, I'm thinking through the path here so I can do this in a logical order. But the 511 gloves are an easy add to pull in 20% if we combine it with the gunner specialization. And so I can run an all red death grips like that, right? So crit damage, armor on kill, and weapon damage. And so we get the health, which is who cares? I get that, but easy armor on kill. Let's see. Might be the only all red one I have. You can also do two pieces Brazos with the Picaro's holster and pick up a little stronger heal too. Or that might be the route we go to make a stronger shield without actually adding armor. So there's several ways we're gonna go here. We'll explore them, but like we can look at Technician and then two pieces of Brazos, one of those being the Picaro's holster. And try to get it all red. Obviously the Picaros you can't, so we're gonna have a skill tier there. But we'll make up for it, so it should act like a 6 red build without being 6 red, because of the extra 15% weapon damage that Picaro's holster holds. Yeah, well, I never really get much out of the self-heal. I almost ignore the True Patriot self-heal just because it's really hard to see it in action.
Control point detected.
I know it's there. What up, Paxton? Okay, so a lot went out there. So let's take a look at. Let's bring in these death grips. Okay, so the death grips, they're a Dark Zone exclusive item. You can get them from named item caches. And what's cool, so this is the catch. Listen to what's about to happen here, because this is an interesting swing of the build. Okay, so we got, this will give us 10% armor on kill, right? And you can get these from named item caches. So again, you know, play your events, your global events, or go into Countdown, get credits, go into the Countdown vendor, buy named item caches. And so, so this gives 10% armor on kill, which is good, but not good enough for, this is subjective, okay? But it's not good enough for the way I play. And so I mean, I can work with 10% armor on kill, but I'm not usually happy with it. 20% armor on kill is more meaningful for me. But look at and so how do we bring in another 10% armor on kill? Well, we can leave clutch, because clutch is armor on kill, right? But what we can also do is bring in gunner and that's a way to bring in 10% armor on kill to the build without adjusting anything on the build actually. However, if you think about this, so I'm walking you through my logic here. If you think about it, but if we run gunner, then we're going to lose a striker shield. The striker shield is damage, right? 12% damage. So running gunner is swinging 10% armor on kill for 10% damage. However, okay, we're still going. Yes, we still need to put on our fourth piece of striker. So we're losing 12% damage that's flexible. That scales depending on who's standing in front of you for the striker's battle gear chest piece, because Ridgeway's Pride was conditional heals, where this is pretty easy to maintain, especially with the Ouroboros, but pretty easy to maintain even without the Ouroboros, because thanks to the ACS shotgun and whatever. So we should end up here with a stronger build, still having clutch, plus 20% armor on kill. So 20% armor on kill on top of clutch is whatever, right? So, and clutch is a variable too. It depends on how many crits and all that stuff. So, so we're gonna switch to gunner here. All right. So that's there. So take you off, and then we're gonna need our skill here. Still gonna need that shield. Probably shield health, and then no damage bonus, some more shield health. Cool. All right, so still no added resistance to the shield yet. Okay, we're still gonna address the shield, but I'm gonna probably do that last. So 10% armor on kill, 10% armor on kill, so we got 20% base armor on kill, and the striker backpack is giving us perfect clutch, which is a potentially 100% armor on kill. So the question will then be, do we have too much armor on kill? Is that much armor on kill helpful? Does some of it, do we have to lose some of it? Let me reset this. Are we getting diminished returns on it? Should we run 10% plus clutch, or do we get rid of clutch and stick with the 20%? All interesting questions. Yeah, and Bellstone is the other way to go too, by the way. So the reason why, just to explain that, so when I was first thinking about this, I was thinking 2 pieces of Bellstone. You could do that, right? So you could run 2 pieces of Bellstone here, run regular clutch, which is just fine. And then the second piece of Bellstone here, which is also great. And that is a better combination. Now, technically, I don't have those pieces. I don't have an all red Bellstone backpack, which is one of the reasons why I'm not doing it, to be honest with you. Like, I don't have that backpack. I want that backpack. I don't have that backpack. It makes me sad that I'm missing that backpack. But that's a better combination. The reason why is because it'll move that armor on kill up. it'll move it to the brand set attribute, and that'll free up a crit slot down below. Thus, in turn, you'll end up with higher crit damage on this build. And you won't have that wasted health slot. The downside is that it does pigeonhole you into that concept. So if you decide Bellstone isn't your route, then you would have to lose both Bellstone pieces, because the 1% armor regen from Bellstone wouldn't really be doing much for you. Okay. So let's see how we do. How we do. Fucker. Oh! Oh, that was bad luck. That was really bad luck. I don't even know how that happened, to be honest with you. That's what happens when you have a gun at 1600 RPMs, or whatever it is. So basically she was dead, and somehow I got a shot off on her weak point as she was hitting the ground. Let's try that again. Power-wise, though, it felt great. Definitely felt stronger. And that's a lot of it, I think, has to do with so although the shield scales, the encounters that you have are always mixed, right? You're gonna have, sometimes you're attacking in group, and there's so many times where you're not attacking in group. Definitely the better build. No doubt. No doubt that was a better build. Strong. And I felt pretty darn godly. Actually, believe it or not, like I feel like I didn't even need the shield. It still helps for micro damage. I'd rather have it, but I was pretty comfortable dropping it. Seeing that jump in armor there, that's probably part of it. Is my recovery is faster. It's taking bigger jumps up. So when I walk out of that battle to take on the next guy, I'm starting at a higher place. I mean, like, none of those guys even got a shot off. Oh, we just killed 3 people without them getting a shot off. So, muito bien. I don't know what language that is. It's like halfway Portuguese, a little bit of Spanish. Muito bien, muito bien. Bad in Portuguese.
Hostile detected.
Muito bien, muito. Better not try. Get off, get that off. See that? Oh, you got me though. Not quite enough, but it was close. Making progress. Yeah, the memento's an easy one. I know, Evan, I know. It's such a good backpack. I am purposely avoiding it though, because it does just come back to, yeah, just slap on a memento, call it a day. What up, Carl, in effect? Welcome in, bro. But that was otherwise really good. So I kind of pushed it to the limit there in the end. Actually, a couple of times where I dropped my shield a little earlier than I normally would.
Supply room access.
Just take a few extra bullets just to see how it panned out, and it was all right. But in the end, where we went down was it just basic. We just don't have that little extra resistance. I mean, that boss, so I got shot in the back, right, by that boss, and he's ultimately what took me down, but just a couple of bullets. It didn't take much, right? I mean, my armor was already down. I had like maybe 15% armor or something like that. And then he put 1 or 2 bullets in me, and that's all it took to bring me down. I mean, and that's you know, it's sad, right? That's the Division 2, is that they hit really hard. 6 bullets or so will break your armor completely. 6 bullets or so, you know? So that's why you need this constant healing thing. So part of what's would really help is something that is working in between kills. That's there in between kills. So all of this is reactive, right? So the damage, I mean, you could actually walk away with just this build, and most of you would probably be happy with it. I'm happy with it. It's a great build right here. We can leave it here. The problem, but to take it to the next level, it's what's happening in between the kills. As you're running from A to B, or when you're in between enemies and you're, you know, the agent sandwich, and one is shooting at you in the back, and you're gonna kill the guy in front of you, and you know you're gonna get that kill, so that's gonna get you your 20% armor and kill plus. But you need that fraction of a second worth of resistance to get those shots out, and then you could turn your attention to the guy that was shooting at you in the back, and then take him out, and then you're good to go, right? So those are the scenarios we're talking about, which happens more than you want it to. It happens a lot, right? You're shooting this guy, somebody's shooting you, you know? It's like the centipede of the Division 2 damage cycle. You don't want to be in the middle. So I'm thinking like, well, how do you get something to be there passively? So it's passive is what we're talking about. And I think that's where one way to do it is Bloodsucker. So if we put on Bloodsucker, Bloodsucker will persist in between the kills, and then we refresh it or grow it on kill. So we're gonna take away this excess armor on kill and replace it with bonus armor that we can stack and refresh. So we can go ahead and actually put on this this backpack here if we wanted to. Let me see if I have a 2-piece bellstone set up. Get rid of those. Not that we need more damage, but it would be the more efficient way. I mean, if we were allowing armor right now, that would work, but I'm going to be a stickler about that at this point in time, at this juncture. It's fine if we don't. I'll just go ahead and run this one. So basically the same one. So I'll just go ahead and take off this armor core. And that shield held up really good there, right? We just didn't have any shield problems. And I don't know if that's the layout of the content. But that was 2 in a row. 56.9, 151. So that's good. I'm going to go ahead and put crit damage here. Because we no longer... The reason why I made that decision is because we no longer have a crit-based talent. Right? So clutch required high crits. And so I went over 60%. In this case, we're going to stay at 57%. It's still, you can still go over. It's fine. I just make those little choices. Preference. All right. So without, this is interesting. So without adding actual armor, we're gonna actually grow our sort of our base armor. It's not base armor, it's bonus armor, but we're gonna grow our armor, our effective armor, we'll call it that. So we're gonna grow our effective armor without actually running armor. And in turn, what do I want to say here? We should be able to drop our shield more so that our shield could be at less risk. And then we're going to have that resistance in between kills because this should last, what does it last? 10 seconds? 10 seconds. And again, we will not have lost any damage because we're still at our 10%. Or because we had clutch on the backpack and now we have bloodsucker, so neither of which are damage talents. What up, Razor? Did I reset? I didn't reset, sorry. I like this little testing thing here. This is actually, the choke is actually a pain in the ass though, I gotta tell you. Because there's always, always, guys, there's always two gunner technicians, turret technicians there, always. And they always set up their turrets on top of that stupid truck that's inside. And it's such a pain in the butt to get to them.
Hostile control point identified.
It's an easy fight overall, but it's difficult to break in. And I go at it straightforward. You could actually just take the back door, you know, by climbing over this truck over here on the left. That's actually the easier route, by climbing that truck in the background. That's the easier route to get in. The downside is then you split up your enemies, and so you're gonna have if you go up that crawl up there, then you're gonna spawn the next wave, and you're gonna have to fight these guys that are on the right hand side too. So that's the reason why I choose to just go face forward so I don't spawn the next enemies. But it is a pain in the ass. Okay, let's do it.
Reinforcements incoming.
Reloading.
See the turret going up?
Get the hell back.
So there's that bonus armor we're looking for. More bonus armor. Taking damage from behind. Just calling it as I see it. That shield.
Detected.
Oh, shotgun to the face. It was a shotgun punch. That sucked. I didn't know he was that close. As soon as the camera swung around, I was like, oh, he's right there. I knew he was somewhere around there. That's that shield. That broken shield. Actually, there's a little bit of a user error there because I decided to take out that grenadier lady and point my back to the other targets, and it was a bad choice in the end. Mostly because she's dodgy and she got me to miss a few of those shots and spend more time with my back to the enemy than I needed to.
Taking too much fire.
Up there.
Moving in for cover. I'll watch your back.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Enough of that business. Boy. Look at our armor growing there.
Additional hostile contacts.
Got some ads here. So just lost their bonus armor because they're wasting my time. God damn it. I don't know which way they're coming from. Oh, that heavy gunner's not gonna be fun. Yep.
Agent incapacitated. Detected. New location guarded by hostiles.
It's close. Yeah, I'm not using a perfect bloodsucker, but I do have bloodsucker on, yeah. I have it on a Cheska. Really? Jesus Christ. Never mind, I'm just gonna kill myself.
Agent killed.
I think we got the idea. Okay, so I think based off of that, we can start looking towards the shield now. But there's a couple other directions we can go we haven't tried yet. So let me see if I have the pieces to make this work. So we can build on the same concept here and just kind of make it girthier,
Detected.
again, without actually running armor. And the route to do that, let me see if I have the pieces for it here. I might have to go grab some. Would be to go with, whatchamacallit, Heartbreaker, a red Heartbreaker. There we go. So something like that. And it's actually kind of neat what we can do with the red Heartbreaker because we can actually double up on the bonus armor and get 2 sources of bonus armor. And you'd be amazed at the damage that you can pull off of a Heartbreaker. Let me see. I don't know which one's going to be better here. I'm going to have to pick up some pieces, though. So you could run the Heartbreaker backpack, or you can run Bloodsucker and have 2 different sources. Or you could run neither the Heartbreaker backpack and Bloodsucker and put a damage backpack back there. You can even run Vigilance and let your bonus armor protect it. Let me see if I have it in here. Heartbreaker chest. That's the one we're missing. The one piece I'm missing, isn't it? Oh, no, there it is. There. Cool. All right, you see where I'm going here? So, and then, shit, we could run the Coyote. Pick up 25% there. Would also be a good option up there. We could, see, the thing is, what's really cool is that I don't think we're going to need the armor on kill at all. I mean, we could put on a fixer just to take a little bit of heals, but we're gonna have 10% armor on kill. This opens up a lot. Normally I can just run with this a weak little fixer. Just a weak little fixer is fine. I mean, we might even be able to go shieldless if we get this hammered out right. Do I want this mask? I don't see why not. I just wondering if I have a better option. Again, avoiding armor. It doesn't bring that much advantage in solo play as you would think, but like you could easily just run Cheska or whatever. But what other thing? I mean, I could run a Picaro's holster. Yeah, this could be cool. I got an idea. Okay, so we run the Picaro's holster like that to bolster the shield, and then put the Heartbreaker here. I'll turn that red, and then we run, if I have it, another Brazos back here, a second piece of Brazos. Let me see if I have that. That'd be cool if I have this. I don't think I have it on me. I don't know if I have it at all. There it is. Ooh, that's close, isn't it? I mean, it's headshot damage and weapon handling, but I might be able to use it. No, I can't because I got to take off the armor. Urgh. Let me think about this for a sec. I could... So we're looking for basically a Brazos with the same setup. Yeah, it is. Yeah, the perfect Bloodsucker is a Bellstone backpack. Yeah. It's a pain in the butt to get, actually. I don't see it dropping a ton. But your best bet is that countdown bender from time to time dishes it out. Yeah, it is a Dark Zone drop. You're right. Yeah. But it still comes up. Dark Zone stuff comes up in that countdown vendor. So named item caches. Tony? A Tony? Come on, man. Let me in.
Safe area entered.
All right. Let's see this thing. Let me in. Let me in. Okay, backpack. So just looking at some alternates here. Brazos would be nice. There's a reddish Bellstone. That's a red Bellstone. It's got armor regen there. I mean, I guess I could take that. I need more backpacks. I mean, that's close. It's got armor on it, though. That sucks. I'll bring it anyways. That's probably it. See if I got the chest. When you think you have everything, you just don't. That's interesting, right? We could run Intimidate. That might be the solution right there. I usually like the Heartbreaker chest, but that's actually a decent alternate. All right, that gives me a couple options. I mean, you could keep it pretty straightforward and just go Heartbreaker chest, whatever. I'm just now starting to think about the shield a little bit. I don't think I made the Carlin effect. I don't think I made a Hunter's build, a Hunter's Fury build with Ouroboros, if that's what you mean. I didn't make one for the Hunters, though. For Countdown, I did make a Hunter's Countdown build. But the Hunter's Fury is with Ouroboros is pretty straightforward, I think. I would actually run the Hunter's Fury chest piece. I like that chest piece. And then I'd probably put the Memento on. Liquid Engineer. Good job, Scooby. Good job. I'm bad at all the names of the gear. I go by brand. But totally, that's right. Okay, what do we do? So I probably should do this in stages, but let me bring that stuff in. Because we got a lot of freedom here, because I can run Technician now and pick up that Artificer Hive as well. It's just that we need something to heal us along the way. We also can run the Heartbreaker Backpack. That'd be strong. That's gonna give you 200% bonus armor. But Bloodsucker on top of that is also good. You can run damage back there. We got tons of options here. So I'm gonna put the Brazos aside for a second. And we're gonna run this. Where'd it go? There. This one. As a we'll put the Coyote on first. Let's see, I might need to put on the crit damage one. Crit damage, crit damage, crit damage. Damn. Got a lot of crits. What's my alternate backpack? Bloodsucker. I guess we could run that. Stoppable force would actually be interesting too, wouldn't it? We could do. I should have a Gruppo, but probably not with that backpack talent. Bellstone, I'd put an armor core there. Walker. %5 weapon damage isn't like, oh wow, but you know. All right. Better than wasting crits, I figure. Let's see how much we drop. 52. 52. That means we're only plus 8. That means we're only 2 over. Okay, we can keep the Cheska. Only losing 2% there, so that's good. Cool. All right, and then crit damage. And crit damage. Cool. And so this is going to indirectly bolster our shield. The reason why, if it plays out the way I'm thinking, because we should have so much bonus armor that we can drop our shield more, absorb it, because that bonus armor is all temporary anyways. Use it or lose it. And you know what I'm going to do is actually, which is really cool, is that we can take off Gunner. We no longer need armor on kill.
Hostile control point identified.
Well, it depends on which way we want to go. I can run Technician and run the Artificer. No, that won't work because we need some sort of heals. And so that's the condition here that's driving the specialization, is we need something to heal us. Whether we have bonus armor or not, you still take actual damage and you don't want to have to stop to armor kit it up. So if we run Technician, we lose our heals and then we have to put back on armor on kill. So it's either Gunner or Firewall in this scenario. So I'm going to go Firewall and pick up more damage. So that's the benefit of actually running Heartbreaker. Did I just activate that? No, I didn't. No, I didn't again. What the hell? Activate. You have to say it for it to work. Just say, Isaac, activate. Okay, and then put more damage here. And so I should find that this type of damage is going to be really helpful damage, because although I'm going to run shieldless as much as I can, hopefully, that the times that we do need our shield is usually in front of bigger squads of enemies. And so, and also going to get scaled damage with that protection too. Yeah, nobody talks about that Hunter's Fury chest. You're right, Grumps. It's actually pretty good. I like it. I mean, 30 seconds of anything is huge, man. It's huge. Okay, I forgot to mention. So I've tested this concept before, but so you know, Heartbreaker, let's go in quickly. So assault rifle damage, LMG damage, we don't care. Weapon handling, love it. Heartstopper is going to give us 1% bonus armor and weapon damage, but we need to apply a pulse. And the way you apply that pulse is by squeezing in a headshot. It only lasts for 5 seconds. The enemy should be dead anyways. So, but either way, we need to squeeze in lots of headshots. And the thing is, I found with the Ouroboros, it actually does a pretty good job of streamlining those shots, especially at the distances we're playing. And I have tested it here and in Countdown, but I haven't tested an Ouroboros Heartbreaker build in Legendary. I haven't done that. Not sure I need to either, but just so you know. And yeah, it would make a difference because although the enemies are tankier, they're also dodgier.
Reinforcements en route.
Just building stacks. Pretty good time to kill. Oh, I didn't see somebody. Yeah, survivalist is great. Good call, Avery. Thank you. That's great. Protection from elites is actually a really cool way to go too. To throw a build over the top. Get that bonus armor to stick around pretty long time.
Control point nearby.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm going shieldless, I'll run protection from elites and then double healers. So I'll run the Mender along with the regular fixer. Oh, I guess she's taken care of. Ah, he ran away. Wow, he just broke my shield. See that guy back there? The one guy you let him get away is the guy that fucking pesters you. You ever notice that? It's like, it's always that way for me. And he's out of like a range, I can't shoot him. He's just this little dumb red guy. Wow, you guys are invisible. Fucking busy. Steal that shield, huh?
Heavily armored hostile.
Ah!
Vital signs critical.
Hey, let me just reset. I got my ass kicked.
Down. Agent killed.
Bartos, what's up? Gotta reset that control point. Yeah, and they always have perfect aim. That's right, Wild. From really far distances, it's just like classic. That red guy back there, I mean, do you see the angle that he had on me? The red guy that got away? He had this crazy angle. I mean, he was upstairs and shooting through, like, just past the pillar that was there, this concrete pillar. It was just like, yeah, just like wiping my armor at that distance. Incredible. I like that, you know, one of the things is I do like the decoy better, you know. Oops. I like having that on the build. Oh my god. I'm gonna die here because my fucking shield didn't pop. Yeah.
Agent deceased.
Happens to me a lot. Hit the shield button, doesn't go out. Ongoing directive is pretty good. It's mostly beneficial in team play, but it absolutely works for solo play. It's not the strongest. So when most people are playing with it in a solo function, they're kind of just enjoying what you can do with status effects to, you know, activate your build, exploring different talents like Wicked for your backpack or whatever. Sadist is some really cool, some really cool talents that go with Bleed. Bleed is always fun in games, I think. But yeah, it's and it's got less damage on purpose because it's applying damage for your team in the form of special ammo.
Heavily armored hostile.
Where are you? Fuck. How'd he get back there so fast? Wow, she's wailing on my armor. You see that? Exotic. What do you think, Coyote's mask?
Incoming hostiles detected.
Okay, so I'm looking at my stacks at this stage. Now, obviously, I can whip out that shotgun and build them up real quick, but I'm curious in how we're gonna fare out in the end. Stack-wise.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Oh, she's sneaky. Not bad. But I have an idea.
Supply room access.
I know they should have a turkey tasting chasing mode in this game. I agree. Good one, Lorenzo. You missed your shout out for being a member for 24 months, Lorenzo. You got that platinum skull. Okay, so yeah, what's the coyote? Look at that. We were right. It was not as I guess, impressive as the version we were running just before Heartbreaker. And the reason why, and that's why I was looking at the stacks, is because this is it's kind of interesting, but we were killing the enemies basically with a lot of brute force. They were just dying whether we had full stacks or not. Where if we would have had full stacks and just maintained those full stacks, and sometimes that's just the way the control point works out, how many, you know, larger groups you're encountering, and the spread out of the engagements is going to cause some deterioration in your stacks. But basically we cleared all the content, but we weren't at full stacks. I'm not sure ever. Even at the very end where we had the boss wave come out, we ended with us taking on 5-6 enemies all at once, and even then we finished the whole control point under the 100 stacks that it takes. And the reason why is because of the pulse and then the rate of deterioration in between the engagements. So what we should do, what I'm going to try, is to get rid of the chest piece and then run the backpack or the mask. I'll run the mask. And the reason why is because that's gonna cut my stacks in half, and then I'm gonna give us some more burst damage instead by running something like, we can run Cheska, obliterate. We might have too much Cheska, yeah we do. So I should have a Grupo here. There we go. And then unfortunately we got more crit chance here. Wait, that's right. Yeah, the mask. Okay, and so we're probably too high on crit chance, but that's fine. All right, so by doing that, we also lose bonus armor. But we should be improving our time to kill. We'll see how that plays out. We weren't using all of our bonus armor anyways, right? Because we weren't at the stack. So we're not really losing anything. We should be gaining. Because what we're losing, what I sacrificed, was something we weren't actually utilizing during that last gameplay.
Hostile control point nearby.
Hard duty is its own punishment.
Ooh, it's gonna be a fight. Got people behind us, and we got an elite convoy, or an elite whatever control.
Reinforcements en route.
Grenade away!
God, a shield again, huh? Damn you, shield. Really?
I'm exposed here! Son of a bitch! One of our...
Okay. You gotta go, bud.
Serious trauma detected.
Really?
Agent out of action.
Perfect grenade. Come on, get me up. Got a fight to be in. Oh, right on. Careful, vigilance.
Signs 0.
I was just trying to talk Portuguese. Muito bien, muito bien. I literally was like 5 minutes ago. I was doing a horrible job.
I'll get you for that. Come and get me.
They're really good at their melees in this game. So fast to swing. My shield is broken again? How? We're not taking that much damage. Oh.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
So a little better on our stacking, as can you see that? So we're basically full we were a second ago.
Detecting additional hostile.
So it's only 50.
You like that, Agent?
Attacking objective.
Heal up all you
I hate bright foam, guys.
Closing on the objective.
God damn, that shield is so brittle. It's crazy. I mean, it's weird because it's no more brittle than what we were running earlier. So, but it just feels more brittle, you know?
Stay calm. I'm here.
It's coming back quick though. Again.
Lost one of This armor is gone.
God damn! Yeah, I think I like the last version better though. I think it did, and it just panned out better. Kind of weird. But we got one more test on this
Detected hostile supply convoy. Heavily armed.
on this version before I abandon it.
Detected. Nearby location guarded by hostiles.
But the Bloodsucker Striker one, with I think, yeah, the 20% armor on kill felt pretty badass. And there might even be a case to lower that armor on kill to protect the shield a little bit too. With that one, we would be able to run Technician, because I don't think damage is our issue on that one. Because we were running the Striker Chest, and it stacks better because it doesn't require the pulse. So what we're gonna try here now is the Heartbreaker Backpack. And then I'm gonna put back on the Heartbreaker Chest, and just we're gonna double up on that dealio. Hold on a second, let me get rid of these. And then I guess the Coyotes. And then we'll run. You know what? If I put on back on the Death Grips, then I can run Technician or something like that.
Heavily
So let me,
armed. Hostile supply convoy nearby.
or even the decoy, either way. But technician will be cool. Because then I can put on the artificer. Yeah, Umbra's fun. Umbra's fun. Yeah, you go over the crit cap, but you see a lot of people
Hostile control.
running auras with Umbra. It's a good build. The only thing is, like, the reason why I personally don't prefer it is it gets too fast. We did run it and it just gets too fast. And you don't really need it to go faster. We don't even really need it this fast. 1485, right? You know? And so it makes your misses when you're missing shots pretty painful. And so even though you have a larger mag, it ultimately leads to just more reloading. What do we need? Electronics, hold on. Can I change? Oh, I can't change this. Okay, we're gonna be stuck with one armor core. You guys don't mind, do you? Okay, so now we need to make a decision on the specialization. So I can keep this one and pick up more damage, or we can run Technician, get the extra skill tier, and then the Artificer to keep that shield going. Because I have armor on kill, we don't need that weak little fixer anymore. So let's try that. So I'm gonna actually shift this. So respect element to repairs. And then we're gonna run the Artificer. So let's just make sure we got the right, yeah. Activated. Okay, so that means we're gonna have to run the regular shield now. Lose a little damage there. Oops, this one. And then I'm gonna run the Artificer, which is gonna heal the shield. Skill repair at 36%. And then we get one skill tier. I'm gonna take this off because that confuses us. Okay, so we got one skill tier, so that's gonna push us to a tier 1 shield, tier 2 shield. Wait, tier 1 or tier 2? Well, we have this armor core, so it's giving us a little strength to the shield there, which you would probably do anyways, but. All right, we're gonna run crit damage. Cool. All right, let's see what that does. So that last run, I mean, how many times does your shield break? I don't even remember. I mean, I feel like it was breaking like every other enemy. I mean, it must have broke like 4 times, maybe 5. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Yeah, you're right, Avery. The threat mechanic is insane. I was just talking about that with the SMGs. The threat mechanic is weird in this game. I was just talking about how the LMGs are really good. It's a really good point you're bringing up. LMGs are really good support weapons. You know, you should be able to sit in the back and just lay down tons of fire and take out enemies. But what ends up happening is if you're doing a good job, then all the enemies start pointing at you, even though there's allies in between you and those enemies. And it's just like, you become the greater threat, and it kind of sucks. Still breaking the shield. I feel like at this stage it's kind of a phenomenon. Like why it's breaking. See those double turrets I was talking about right there, huh? They're nasty. Ah. Get off my nuts, bro. We're going in. Oh, where'd you come from? Damn it! Where'd he come from? He must have jumped down. Oh, these guys are 56 meters away. I'm just gonna kill myself. I don't have the patience.
Deceased.
Yeah, the decoy would be really helpful there. Throw the decoy, take those turrets. And so I wasn't impressed in that Artificer Hive when that shield broke in that early engagement. See that? It's the timing on the refresher. It's like when it refreshes isn't always convenient to when you're taking damage on that shield.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Ooh, you didn't like that. It's actually easier without the shield. Till Big Boy gets here, huh? Come on.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Where are you? Barely squeezed by on that one, didn't we?
Incoming hostiles detected.
I better heal up here. So our stacks are pretty good. I mean, we ended up with a big chubby dude, so that helped. There's our shield again. That's with the skill tier and an armor core, guys. That's a tier 2 shield. That's funny. It's just baffling how brittle the shields are. I mean, they nerfed shields so much, man. There's somebody up there that's annoying. That you now have to like build for the shield, right? It's kind of annoying. I don't like it. You know what I mean? Ever since they did that, you know, we have to like consider how much armor we're running for, not for the sake of the build, not for the sake of our survivability, but for the sake, oops, of the shield and its ability to get us killed, right? The shield gets you killed. I mean, I feel safer without the shield. Because, I mean, you know, it sucks when you get dizzy, right? See right there? It almost broke again. Oops. Reloaded too soon.
Armored hostile detected.
Yeah, I think they need to reverse that a little bit. I'm not, you know, fine if it's brittle, but the dizziness is just crazy. Where's Mr. Foams a lot? Of course. Ooh, way back there. You see that fucker? There's a shield again. I mean, even on one-on-ones. You know what I mean?
Incapacitated.
Yeah, it's frustrating me. Where's the allies? Not doing anything. What are they doing in there? Patrolling? All right, we've had it. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it.
Agent deceased.
Just the dynamics of that set or the Heartbreaker setup with no armor and the shield breaking is really annoying. And it really shouldn't be that way. I sort of scratching my head on the idea, the concept, because your time to kill is really good with no red Heartbreaker. It's really good. The stacking thing aside, you know, and I could fix that by running the Night Watcher mask
Hostile control.
and just kind of hit the pulse or whatever. But we don't really have to do that, so I'm not going to go down that road. But that's the easy workaround. Then you can build your stacks easier. But in the end, on that run, for some reason, I don't know why, but we were stacking better on that run than we were in earlier runs. And so, but in both runs with the Heartbreaker, I don't know if you noticed, but our shield kept breaking in that one too. And it's just like, and it's got the strongest shield out of all of the builds that we've run today. It's a tier 2 shield, and none of the other builds had a tier 2 shield, right? And so on this one, we survived a lot throughout the shield breaking scenarios because of all that extra bonus armor. And I did feel like we were doing a better job of stacking on this one. And we had the full 100 shots and 200% bonus armor. But with that shield breaking, my next fix would be to bolster the shield, and it would be perfectly appropriate to do that with this build, because that's what Heartbreaker does well, right? Which is bonus armor. And so so load up on armor. But what ends up happening in a funny, awesome way is that you can make your Heartbreaker build so strong you don't need the shield at all. And we have those builds already. The, look, ma, no shield type build out there. We have those. And I think we were using the non-exotic vector. But I'm going to put this one away. We were having either bad luck or just something there just not working. And so we're going to go back to the one that was feeling really good, which is the Striker chest. We had the 511 gloves, so we're good there. And then we were running, it was an all-red Striker, of course, so we're going to put that back together. And I think it looked like that. And then the backpack we were running was Bloodsucker with Cheska. Now, so this is the one I think we want to improve on. Now, there's a couple of things. So all the damage you could possibly dream of coming out of your chest, which is great. Easy to stack because we no longer require the pulse anymore. So super easy. The shield never broke with this build, which was interesting, right? And it might have been a combination of fast time to kill and being able to drop the shield a lot because we were doing a good job of building and maintaining Bloodsucker. That's probably what it had to do with, because it is performance-based. Bloodsucker's performance-based and it's directly tied to Striker's performance because you're killing well, you're getting bonus armor well. So that's probably it. And then we were running Gunner before. So right now what's at play is the specialization, I think. Do we run... I don't think we need more damage. Yeah, the Defender drone is pretty good. You got a good point there, Avery. The only problem is that, it's got that short life on it, duration, and that kind of bugs me. I find the decoy is also short duration too, but it does more for me. Because I can throw it out ahead or run and escape if I need to. But the Defender is a good option, though, for resistance. You got a good point there. That's for sure. So a couple of things is we could also add more damage and put on protection from elites so we can compensate that way. So if you heard my earlier statement, it's like, well, we don't need more damage, right? And so I'm saying that because of Firewall. So Firewall gives us more damage, and we can run the Firewall shield. But we don't. Because we're running the Striker chest piece, damage isn't really the issue here in the Ouroboros, so it's not really the issue. But we could power down to power up, right? So I could take off some crits and put on protection from elites, and then put damage on the shield. Now I wouldn't want to do too much of this. Well, we could probably do a lot. But remember how I was saying earlier that sometimes, or the benefits of the shield are sort of here and there, and I'm talking about the Striker shield. So you get more damage depending on how many enemies are standing in front of you, right? But half of the time, there's only one enemy standing in front of you, so it's only 12, 13% damage. So not much of a scale there. But with the chest piece, we might not care, so... we could do this instead of Gunner. And I think I like that better. Because, see, Gunner gives us 10% armor on kill. That's reactive, where protection from elites is proactive, and that's what I'm looking for. So we can go survivalist in this case. Yeah, this could be cool. So let's look at this. Survivalist. Somebody was saying this earlier, and I thought it was a good idea. Was that you, Avery? Yeah. Somebody was saying survivalist earlier, and I was like, yeah, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, that was you, Avery. So yeah, so I think we're gonna try this. Probably still run the shield with this one. I think we would probably still gonna need the shield. So I'm not gonna use the mender because it kind of lags behind it. And if you're playing in group, it also goes, you lose it to your teammates. Screw them. And so what I'm gonna do is put on 3 protection from elite mods. And so we're going to hefty up that protection from elites. So that should put us up at what, 40 something? 49% protection from elites. That's a lot. And so we're going to have the bonus armor. We're going to have tons of damage coming off of this. And then a standard shield. And if we feel weak, we can look at putting on a better shield. But I have a feeling we're not going to feel weak. Let's see how that pans out. Yeah, Firewall does have better mods. So yeah, I think so. The question is like, we probably, the 49% versus 39% protection from elites. It's probably that 10% isn't going to make or break the build. So it's sort of just like, where do you want to lean to on that last 10%? And basically, you know, do you want the 10% more damage that potentially can scale up to 30, 40, 50% damage because of that shield? Or do you want the more protection from elites to allow your bonus armor to stay up longer? And perhaps go shieldless more. So there's no right answer there at all. I don't think there is. You know, they're both really good options. It's up to you. No, just kidding. It's up to me.
Take out those hostiles!
Reinforcements en route.
So he's building stacks. All right. I don't want to run through that pool of fire there.
I've got your back.
Hostile broadcast. Heavily armored hostile detected.
Try not to blow up, huh? Try not to blow yourself up. You can see, like, a way better performer. And I think it's an element of the stacking. I just think I wasn't doing that good a job of stacking on the Heartbreaker one. But either way, the shield thing was killing me, man.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
There's pressure on that bonus armor, though, right? Like, you got to get out there and get that next kill in 10 seconds. It's, in Heroic Seed, we just lost it. Now we got to start all over. That's what I hate about Bloodsucker and why I always choose a Memento. Because you don't have to start all over. One kill gets you to full potential on your bonus armor. Where here, with Bloodsucker, you got to stack kills to get full potential. Back and forth, back and forth.
Hostile detected.
Attacking the target.
Supply room access unlocked.
I gotta follow orders.
Incoming hostiles detected. Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Not very girthy bonus armor. It's broken, isn't it? Did you see all that? I mean, was it broken? I mean, that's as good as it got? We just killed a whole shit ton of people. Do you see that? Did that look broken to you guys? I mean, we should have had double our bonus armor, right? 100%. Isn't that what that goes to? 10 stacks. 10 stacks, right? 10 stacks of 10. Yeah, maybe it was that cap, but it didn't look as girthy as it could have been. So obviously the better build. I mean, how much were we actually playing without our shield there? A lot more. A lot more. And I felt godly. Felt great.
Secure the area.
It did feel pretty close. I mean, I like the Bloodsucker route better, but Clutch with 20% armor on kill did feel pretty good too. So we had Clutch earlier, and then we were running this with Gunner. That also felt pretty good. I'm not sure it's worth going back and testing the difference between the two. Yeah, so
Cast picked up.
yeah, the Memento is an easy one here. Actually, this is the deal. The Memento is so strong you wouldn't even need the 511 gloves, right? And it's not really, that's sort of not the point of what I'm hoping to demonstrate today, because it's just, yeah, true. You know what I mean? And like the difference between Bloodsucker and the Memento, Bloodsucker in almost all situations just loses that fight. And between Bloodsucker and Memento. And the reason why is because they're both on kill. And so if your argument is that, oh, well, the Memento is only good for solo because of the on kill element. Well, same with Bloodsucker. It's an on kill thing. And it's even worse because there's no other benefits, right? There's no weapon damage. There's no skill efficiency. There's no 3 tiers. You get an extra crit slot, or 2 technically, and a brand attribute, but the Memento offers way more than you could put on any other, any alternative backpack that would dish out bonus armor. You know, so like whether it's a Cheska or a Grupo or a Fenris with Bloodsucker, the Memento is just going to kick its butt because you're going to have the fresh trophies. In all these cases, I mean, we would just be stacking that weapon damage. Stacking. You know, that's a 6 red core build. So that'd be the full 5x6, which is 30% weapon damage on top of 30% weapon damage, on top of 30%, on top of 30%, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's gonna be so strong. It's crazy. So, and that's it's true, but it's not really the point. I think what I'm really trying to do here is just showcase the alternate ways to construct builds without loading on a bunch of armor. You know, that you can still feel godly and you can still feel tanky. Obviously, the easiest route is just to throw armor on even this same build, and I think we demonstrated that the other day. But it's to highlight the creativity. I'm hoping to highlight the creativity you can have on your builds by looking at some of these talents that are often overlooked. And gear pieces like the 511 gloves, right? I mean, how often do you get to squeeze those suckers in? Or Bloodsucker, or what's the other one? Clutch. You know, and Clutch is nice. Like, I really actually like Clutch. If the Memento wasn't so goddamn good, Clutch should be my dude. And Clutch is the same thing. Requires a kill, right? To really get its benefit. So it's got the same conditions as Gunner, as 2 pieces of Bellstone, as 2 pieces of Uzina Getica, as Bloodsucker. They all require performance, which is kill, right? And so one of the reasons why people like Striker is it doesn't require performance. All you got to do is land shots, and that's not much of a performance requirement. All you got to do is point and shoot, you know, and that's really cool. So there's so many different combinations we could do here. I mean, so I've been kind of strict about not adding any armor, but the truth is that you could run the Catharsis and get really strong heals on that too, because your shield, as it takes damage, that damage applies to the stacks and Catharsis is both damage and heals. That's exactly what you're looking for, damage heals. And so in reality, as we explored in the video the other day, which it's just like, it absolutely makes sense to run armor for the majority of the content in this game. You know, so whether it's heroic or legendary, solo or in group, adding whatever degree of armor makes sense for your playstyle and skill level and the role you're taking on, you should do it. You know, so like if you're going to be the aggressor, Ouroboros SMG player, and armor helps you be more aggressive, you should do it because you're not losing much of any damage, not effective damage at least. And so there's no real reason to hold or adhere to an all red build in general content. Now for specialty content like raids and whatever these compositions that are formulated, then, you know, yeah, you should probably stick to those because you don't want to piss off your teammates. but in general content, like, you know, 1.1 million armor is where most of the community find very comfortable and they feel like their performance isn't lacking there. So that's always a good starter place. Now, sometimes I go all red, you know, on a legendary or whatever, just because whatever build I'm running, just even though I can run armor, I just don't get any benefit out of it. And so I don't. But for the most part, yeah, I like running armor on my builds. It says I feel strong enough to the point where, you know, if I don't run armor, I feel like I'm nerfing myself because I feel like I have enough damage where I'm not really, it's not really going to anything, you know? I don't believe in, personally, like just from what I've seen in my experiences, I don't believe in that concept of there's no such thing as too much damage. I don't believe in that. I think everything, too much of anything is bad. I think that everything has a diminished return. And what level that is a variable. Depends on your play style, depends on your aggressiveness and your skill level. But the player is the biggest contributor to the diminished returns. So if you're a really good player, then sometimes you might find that all this extra damage isn't really going anywhere. You're killing maybe most of the enemies, whether you had the striker chest piece or not, whether you're running vigilance or not, whatever, you know. But the build is usually last in the equation. You know what I mean? So it's usually like, for me, it's like the player, its skill level and playstyle dictate how much armor I'm going to put on a build. And then it's the content, and then it's the build. So the playstyle, so you might think of the build because of the playstyle the build requires, but I lump that into the player. So in other words, because SMGs, just because you're running an SMG, although the playstyle you would think would be aggressive and up close and personal, not everybody uses it that way. So, I mean, it's the same thing, but different. So if you lump playstyle with builds, you know, then the build would be a little higher level, but I put playstyle with the player because I think most of us run builds based on our playstyle, unless you're forced to running a build that's not in your playstyle. Like you're forced to running a healer, but you don't like healing, or you're forced to being a sniper and you hate sniping. But it's our playstyle that dictates our builds, right? I mean, most of you probably come to the channel saying, hey, I want an aggressive build. I want to run and gun. I want to feel godly. And so that's you saying that. That's not the build saying, hey, you got to be a run and gunner. You got to be godly in order to use me. You can look at it that. You can look at it that way, but I don't think most people play that way. I think most people play, hey, I'm a relaxed player. I use an assault rifle. I play from, medium distances. I want to build that works for that. That makes me feel godly in that scenario. And so it's you dictating what build to run, and it's you therefore dictating how much armor you're going to have. And so that's why I lump it all with the player. It's your play style. Now, there are builds that dictate a play style. Sniper build is obviously going to dictate a sniping play style, but just to show you that's not always the case, I run and gun out of cover sniper builds, point blank. That sounds crazy, but it's because it's my play style. So I'm imposing my play style on the build. The build doesn't impose its play style on me. Now, would I be successful playing that way in all content? Absolutely no. Like I'm not going to go run and gun snipe in legendary or a raid. It wouldn't work, So yeah, there's that situational. You pick your build for the content, pick your play style for the content. Anyways, but for today's exercise, like I think this is a really good way to go, but it's not the only way. So you could also run a 4-piece Hunter's Fury in here. You could put on more status effects for survival. So like anything other than armor, that was really what we're exploring. How do you feel godly and tanky without actually running armor? And this is what did it for me. It's got a little bit of everything when we look at it from an invisible shield concept. So we got the bonus armor, we got something protecting the bonus armor, and then we got a heal happening underneath. And I was running a fixer. I forgot I was running the 10% armor on kill. The reality is we didn't need the fixer. Actually, the decoy would have been better in that scenario because of the armor on kill there would have been enough underneath the bonus armor and protection from elites. So I didn't really need the fixer. So I should have been running the decoy. But either way, it doesn't matter. There's other ways to go. You could put back on gunner, firewall, a 2-piece bellstone. We could run 2-piece bellstone here. I'd actually prefer that. That would be the stronger build. I just don't have those pieces. But 2-piece bellstone is here. You could, but it's the layered system of protection that we got going on here. I think that really works and makes this feel godly. So, but anyways, you could also run skill builds with this concept. You could run back with Ridge Race Pride and then run a ongoing directive build. And then if you remove some of the conditions about no armor, absolutely no armor. And if you're willing to take a little bit of armor, you could look at running the tardigrade chest piece and get that bonus armor up front. You could put Unbreakable on. So and get the refresh when your armor breaks, which is inevitably going to happen. So many ways to go. Anyways, it is dinner time for me, so I'm going to drop it here. But I will probably catch you guys tomorrow night if you're willing to kick it with me. Probably for a later stream after turkey dinner and when the kiddos go to sleep. So if you guys are down to hang out on Turkey Day, then you can find me here online at this address. Otherwise, I will see you on Black Friday. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging with me tonight. Catch you on the next one.